Welcome to another episode of Redesigning Your Relationships podcast. I'm your host, Giovanna Bridges-White, with my co-host.
Hello, I'm Yvette Valdenegro.
Oh, and we're super excited to be coming on another week and just talking about the relationship with your business and what does it look like in the summer? What does the relationship with your business look like, and what does your business look like during the summer? Here in Texas, we're in full swing. Kids are out of school. And as small business
rising.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yes, and the temperature is very hot, but we wanted to just kind of come on and talk about, to piggyback on rebalancing the relationship with your business and what that looks like in our last episode, and just talk about what does summer look like for you as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a mom, as a wife, and how to make sure that you still have your business in your calendar, I would say, and then not lose the momentum and also not lose yourself. We kind of talked about this in the last episode, but we want to really just dig deep and talk more on how to plan for your business to thrive in the summer. And that doesn't mean you have to work at 24/7. And also how to set those boundaries in your household on what you want your summer to look like for you, and what you want your summer to look like for your business, and what you want your summer to look like for your family. So I think we can start it there.
Okay. So before we get started though, I think it's this, God, I just love our podcast. Can I say that?
Duh.
Okay. So number one, I just want to point out our two different backgrounds. Yours is all nice and white and cheery and bright, and mine is classic Yvette, black background, which I love. And before we got on today, because everybody who listens to us knows we're not scripted. We don't have, which annoys people, we don't have notes because we like to be organic and we like to just share from our heart. And our content, yes, we know what we're going to talk about, but it's not like we go, hey, you say, then I'll say, and then this is my line, then you say. No way. There's no way that Yvette and Giovanna would ever stick to a script anyway. But I think the reason we really wanted to get on and do this particular topic is, one, obviously the summer just started. Two, like we just said, the temperature is going up. But three, we've already either heard, talked to, coached people who are women who are already experiencing that absolute frustration that comes because school is out, kids' activities. If you're an entrepreneur, even if you're a mom that's a CEO running a Fortune 500 company, now you've got the kid, just the added stress and weight, vacation, like taking the family. There's just so much that goes on. And then all of a sudden, the person gets turned off. And what I mean by that is the momentum that you've been working on as you, the individual, your business, all of a sudden is just kind of slowly starts to shut down because you're putting all the insight and focusing on the kids. And then obviously your company, your business, that it does the same thing. So we're hearing frustration, anger, actually, and we're yin and yang. So this could be a little bit today of like good cop, bad cop, but I guess I'll put it in a positive way. Self-awareness that says, I can't do this. But for you and I, we're very strong individuals that say, yes, you can. It's the choices that you make. And so sometimes our paradigms, our mindsets, our thought processes, the way we were brought, our relationship with our partners, the environment that we've created in our home, we may want something that's now frustrating and makes us not happy individuals because what we're wanting on the inside is not actually happening on the outside with the people that are around us. So that's really what we're going to talk about today, because that's a very frustrating place to be as a person. And no one wants to spend 2.5 months yelling and screaming at kids. I mean, I got mine downstairs. I just texted them and said, hey, I'm going to be on the podcast, but they're older adults, so I get it. But I couldn't even imagine a 2-year-old running through right now, interrupting, and then the frustration I would feel inside because I'm not able to do what I'm really wanting to do. But the practical side of how do I make that happen if I'm really wanting it? And I think that at the end of the day, everything we're going to say today is ultimately going to come down to how badly do I want to keep continuing the work in myself, and how badly do I want to keep continuing the work in my business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So today, what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to give examples on what you can do right now. It's June 8th, going forward, because there's no going back, right? We can't go, oh, we should have done this, or if I would have known better. So what can we do now from June 8th and on? But it all comes back on you. I want to make that very specific. You as the mom, you as the wife, you as the business owner. And really, if you don't have kids or you're not married, you can be in a corporate job listening and going, oh my God, this is me and my team and my boss, right? It relates to everybody that is in a business, does a business. So what can I do now? And am I willing to do that? And then how can I prepare for the next break? Because we're going to be in seasons. We're going to have a Thanksgiving break, and then we're going to have a holiday break, and then we're going to have spring break. So this is going to help you with everything. Even though those are shorter breaks, this is why we love our pillar of rebalancing your relationship with your business, because you have to look at the big picture as well. So we're not going to go backwards. Summer, June 8th. If you're a mom, if you're a small business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, and you're already pulling your hair out because your kids are driving you insane, you need to start making some decisions and writing down the goal. What is the goal for the summer? And that's like, you got to be specific. Does that mean 5 hours in my business a week? Does that mean 10 hours in my business a week? Figure out what that means. Are you scheduling that time out? And then do you have a game plan with your unit? We're going to talk about your unit. We all have it. We had it because of COVID. It's still there. It can be parents. It can be babysitters. It can be getting on your Nextdoor app. It can be getting on the Facebook group for your neighborhood and asking the questions. Are there teenagers, kids from college home that can come into my home? Because most of us are working from home. Again, if you're going to work 10 hours a week, then you may need 8 hours of work, help, of service, of whatever it is. But you have to put that on paper, figure that out, and say, how much time am I willing to put in my business, and how much money am I willing to put aside to help, to either have someone come in and help, or start making those phone calls to the parents, to the family, or even, yes, even, everyone's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're saying this, Gio. Talking to your spouse about putting in a little more time with the kids during the summer so that your business doesn't fall behind. And that can be an hour in the park when they get home from work, 2 hours on a Saturday. Everyone's schedule is going to look different. So I'm going to just pause there, because I feel like that in all is already going to feel like a lot to do. But does that make sense? Did I make sense, Yvette?
It does. So I'm going to play the devil's advocate. I'm listening and I go, Gio, you don't understand. I don't have the finances to hire babysitters. I don't have the finances to make all this work. And my husband is not supportive of what I'm doing.
Okay, I get that. So you can either make the decision to put those big curl panties on and say, if this is truly your business and you want it to succeed and you want your spouse to help and be along, you have to help them understand the bigger picture. Great. So I can take the summer off, the 2.5 months, right? Let's just say that's the solution. Could be a solution for a lot of people. There's still other things that you can do, automations, social media posts that can help, something on your website that's kind of like a silent salesperson, a promotion if you have a product. Because again, I'm not going to go backwards. You could have planned for that. You could have planned to take the whole summer off. That people do that in their business. They do. They take the whole summer off because they either planned for the fall season, the spring season to make enough income to where they can do that, or they put processes into place. So if you don't have the time, you don't have the money, you don't want to put your big girl panties on and talk to your spouse about your business being important, then you need to still spend some time, set those boundaries with your kids. Now, if they're babies, like you obviously can't do that, but or wake up a little bit earlier. Like there's so many things that you can do. 15 minutes a day, if that's all you have for 2.5 months, will still help your business survive and have money coming in. So if you want to play that card, that's fine, because it is a card that you have to play, but you have to there still has to be a solution to the problem. There has to be. Because if not, it's just going to be like, oh, well, my spouse isn't taking me seriously because the fall comes, and guess what? I didn't make any money in my business in the summer because I never told them that, this is what I need to do. This is what I need from you. So you got to start somewhere. Baby steps. Doesn't have to be the whole picture. It doesn't have to be like get the babysitter to tell your husband, but pick something, or stay up 15 minutes later, wake up 15 minutes earlier. It's just 15 minutes. And then really start to establish or have those conversations, start to have those conversations with your spouse so that they do get on board with your business.
Yeah. And I think the value of, is this something you really want to do? Is this who you really want to be? Because if you don't really value and you don't really respect your own self or what you're doing, it becomes a wash. And it's like, why don't ask for a babysitter. Don't ask your husband to help out more, because it really truly isn't that important to you. So we're really speaking to the people that are like, no, this is so important to me. What in the world do I really do? Because people really do they complain a lot about. I mean, this is not just the summer. This is kind of year round, where people are saying, I've got small kids at home. I've got this. I got this. I got, then it just comes, well, how badly do you want to make this happen? And have you clearly articulated it to those people that are around you that will and can be affected by your choice? Because that has to be established. If something was super valuable to you, but you'd never told me, you can't expect that I would know that. Like, I know your time with your husband, Chris, is super important to you. Like, that is the value that you've put on your relationships, to say, hey, we've got two different things going on, but there's only so many days during the week that we're actually going to spend time. That is the value that you placed on it. I already know that. So it would be insane for me to get upset with you or mad because, like, oh my gosh, you're going to go do something you didn't tell me. I don't know. No, but it's already been discussed. But we already know those are the values that we already have in general, but we've discussed it. So a lot of times it's like we just make these assumptions that people understand. Well, I'm doing all this, and don't you see? Well, yeah, people see what you're doing, but they don't really understand because you haven't made it a value and spoken that this is really important to you.
Yeah.
You haven't given them a chance to be supportive.
And I think we always go back to time blocking, scheduling, and calendar integrity. And most people still haven't gotten 100% on that. And so when it comes to the summer, it's a little bit harder. But I also I hear this all the time, but my kids, like, they don't know what to do. I have to be there for them. And look, we just went through a huge 2-year pandemic. My kids were here for 18 months and it was insane. And yes, they were older. I think at that point they were 11 and 13, but it was a lot harder for me as a mom to completely change their mindset as teenagers on what it should look like, not just the summer, because it was spring break and then summer, and then all of a sudden, like, they're still here, than it is to do with a 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old who you can start allowing them to kind of make up their schedule on what that looks like, and allotting the time frame. Well, obviously you have to feed them. That makes sense, but you could already have stuff pre-done to where they can go pull it out, have their own little shelf. I saw this happen so greatly with the younger kids during COVID, that's something that you can still instill in them now, to when it comes to every break and every summer. Also with kids that are older, have someone carpool. Hey, I'll be the mom on Tuesday to take them to swim practice. Have another mom take them on Thursday. Do the play dates. Like, there's a lot of things that you can do within your pod and your unit and the support of your community. And it also gets the kids to go do stuff. So I really want people to kind of think outside the box and say, how can I really train my children to have their schedule, the chores list, even if it's little kids, $1 a chore. Money is such a great factor for them. They're like, oh, I want to do that. So, and allot those times so that you're training them. It may take longer now. You're like, oh God, that sounds horrible. Like, that's another job that I have to do. But that's going to help you as the seasons go by and as the next breaks come and as the next summer comes. You're like, oh my God, it was so great to do that. Now my kids know. Like, we sat down yesterday and we really went through the whole month of just June, double checked our schedules, put it in the Google Calendar, because there's a lot of things that I still have to do for them, especially the driving part. So it's really important that as parents, as moms, as entrepreneurs, we're starting to give them that freedom of creating their life, their summer. I did this all through the fall and winter break, and I got to tell you, it was fantastic. And if it wasn't on the schedule, they know if I had something going on that I wasn't going to stop doing it, and so they didn't even ask. So I think it's really, really important that we allow that we give them that freedom, that we give them that choice. They're going to be like, oh, this is cool. And then when mama has to work, again, even if it's 15 minutes or 30-minute increments, I'm not saying block out 5 hours. It's probably never going to happen. But 15 minutes, if you know they're going to pull something out of the fridge, if you're going to allow them to be on the screens, if you're going to allow them to watch a show, you're doing these little 15-minute increments, 20-minute increments, 30-minute increments that you're allowing yourself to get your work done. And then still saying, hey, to my spouse, how can you help me with an hour a week? What does that look like in your schedule? Or 2 hours a week, whatever that time is. But I mean, it is that simple. It's just we have to do it.
Well, it goes back to what you said in the very beginning. What is the goal? What is really the goal? If the goal is just like, oh, this is just for fun, it really doesn't matter, I can pick it back up in the fall. Okay, great. Then you don't. But for those that are complaining, it's not going the way I want it to, I'm not making the income I want, it's not, like the goal is there, and you have to daily make sure you do the things, and it's a priority. We Gio and I are both part of a group of ladies that we've gotten to know really well. But anyway, we're on this one, for lack of better words, texting group. And this morning they were saying why they wouldn't be able to be on a Zoom call. And I quickly just wrote down all the reasons, because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is exactly that. One of them was going camping. The other one had wedding prep, it sounded like, for someone in their family. Someone was getting the carpets cleaned. Someone was traveling, and another person was having to deal with their kids. All of them couldn't get on the Zoom call, but I can guarantee you, because I know all these women, they will make it a priority to go back and listen to the replay of the Zoom call. So again, it goes back to, it's a priority for them. And you know what priority sometimes means? There's a sacrifice, and not in a bad way, because when you're sacrificing for something you really want, it's not a negative. It's a, oh my God, I get to do this. Like, I get to, like you said, stay up a little bit longer so I can listen to this. Or I'm going to, instead of jamming out to my music this morning while I'm running, I'm going to be listening to the replay of the Zoom. That's where the little sacrifices come in, the little modifications that you're saving time, but you're now making it a priority. And you're like, how can I fit this in my day? But that does take I wish there was a positive word for prioritize it. Sacrifice, priority. I don't know. Just,
it's like debt. There's good debt. Some people think that's good. Some people think it's
true. It's how you look at it.
Literally, we don't have to change the word. We got to change the mindset on it. I think we've done a great job in this really small, tiny informational podcast, because I just want people to go back and listen to it a couple of times and say, okay, how can I make this work? So back to this, like 3 steps, or make it super easy. What is your goal? What is the goal? Because we're not going backwards, okay? What is the goal? Write it down. And then this is in terms of how many hours a week. That's part of your goal. And then what are you willing to do based on the little nuggets that we gave you? You don't, again, everyone's different. Some people have the time, some people have the money, some people don't. Figure that out and then do it. And that's it. And then just really also, step number 4, allow your children, no matter what age they are. I couldn't tell you, I feel like 4 and up is a great time to allow them, sit down, like, what would you like your summer schedule to look like? Let them tell you. And then say, and then also establish what mommy needs to do these things. Do you understand that? Can we make sure that 15-minute pockets, 20-minute pockets? You'd be amazed on what your children and your spouse, because you're telling them what it is that you need.
Yeah. And above and beyond that, for anybody who does listen to this and they're like, you guys, this all sounds like I want this, I just don't know how to put it into action. We're here to help in any way to help you put in the action and to get things going, prioritize, and to figure all out. So we're available to do one-on-ones, to do a consult call, to a connection call, so that we can just talk and help you begin to do it.
Yeah. So if you're wanting to do that virtually, we are available. If you're in Houston and you're watching the replay, or listening to the replay, we have a summer series starting in July and August. So the link for that as well. It is a amazing collaborational workshop with the women of JNC. So it's a business and relationship workshops. We'll have the information there as well, because I think this will be really great for you guys to come to and just kind of understand what it is as women entrepreneurs we need to do, not only for our business, but for ourselves. So read the show notes, read the post. Links for everything are there. And if you still don't know and you're not sure, just DM us and we'll jump on a complimentary call with you. So until next week, we'll see you again.